What if I told you that you could stand in your kitchen in Belgium while your coffee pot is brewing just a few feet away in the Netherlands? It sounds impossible, but it's real. Or what if there's a place on Earth where you can look across the street at your neighbor and literally see tomorrow? A place where a simple step can send you 24 hours into the past or future. Most of us think borders are simple, straightforward divisions. They're the bold lines on our classroom globes, the customs checks at the airport, or just a fence in the dirt. They're meant to create order. But what if I told you that's just a tidy illusion? In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to show you that our planet's geography is actually a glitchy simulation full of bizarre exceptions. We're talking about airports that double as international highways, countries that actively fight to not own valuable land, and a border so mind-bendingly complicated it makes Inception look like a simple bedtime story. Welcome to the weirdest borders on Earth. These aren't just cartographical curiosities. They are living puzzles with bizarre historical, political, and sometimes downright accidental reasons for why they actually exist. So, get ready to question everything you thought you knew about the lines that divide us. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at a map the same way again. Before we go global exploring the world's most fascinating borders, let's start right here, in our own backyard. You might think you know the border between the United States and Canada, but it's full of surprising quirks. It's famously the longest undefended border in the world, a testament to a long-standing friendship. And on a map, it looks like a perfectly straight line, right? Wrong. Due to 19th century surveying errors made with rudimentary tools, it's actually a zigzag that deviates from the 49th parallel hundreds of times. But the weirdest part? It's called the slash. There is a 20-foot wide no-touch zone, a treeless corridor cut through dense forests for 5,500 miles. It's a massive, permanent reminder saying this is America and that's Canada. And then there's the Haskell Free Library, a building intentionally constructed to straddle both nations. Inside, the international border is literally a black line on the floor. You can pick up a book in Vermont and sit down to read it in Quebec. Just don't forget your passport if you need to use the restroom on the other side of the building. Before we dive into the madness, let's address the elephant in the room. Why are international borders so messy? In the US, we're pretty spoiled. We have states like Colorado and Wyoming that are literally just rectangles. It's like the founding fathers used a ruler and said, "Good enough, let's go get lunch." But the rest of the world? It's a chaotic mix of medieval gambling debts, colonial mistakes, and local beefs that have lasted 1,000 years. Let's start with the king of all headaches. Our journey into the world's strangest borders begins in Europe. At first glance, this looks like any other charming town straddling the border of the Netherlands and Belgium. But this is Barle-Nassau and Barle-Hertog. And what you're seeing isn't a simple line. It's a geopolitical masterpiece of confusion. It's not a neat line drawn on a map. It's a cartographic jigsaw puzzle scattered across the landscape. There are 22 Belgian enclaves entirely surrounded by the Netherlands, and within some of those, you'll find 7 Dutch counter-enclaves. It's a genuine case of borderception. So, how did this happen? The roots of this puzzle stretch back to the 12th century, when the Duke of Brabant and the Lord of Breda kept swapping parcels of land to settle debts, grant favors, or secure alliances. These medieval agreements were never simplified. The result is a town where the international border slices right through homes, gardens, and cafes. A resident's nationality is determined by a simple yet bizarre rule. Whichever country your front door is in, that's where you officially live. This creates some truly absurd situations. During the pandemic, one half of a store had to close due to strict Belgian lockdown laws, while the other half, on Dutch soil, was allowed to remain open for business. Talk about a logistical and retail nightmare. Now, let's cool off in the Bering Strait. Meet the Diomede Islands. Big Diomede is Russia. Little Diomede is the USA. They're only about 2.4 miles apart. On a clear day, You can literally see Russia from your porch in Alaska. But here's the mind-blowing part. The international dateline runs right between them. This means Big Diomede is 21 hours ahead of Little Diomede. You can look across the water and see tomorrow. If it's a chill Sunday morning for you, your Russian neighbor is already dealing with a case of the Mondays. It's the closest thing we have to a real-life time machine.
Hey Ivan, how's Tuesday looking? Still cold, Steve, still cold.
Usually, nations fight for land. But between Egypt and Sudan, there's a place called Bir Tawil that nobody wants. It's 800 square miles of desert, sand, and absolutely zero Wi-Fi. Why? It's a legal trap. Because of two different colonial maps from 1899 and 1902, if either country claims Bir Tawil, they legally give up their claim to a much better, resource-rich area called the Halaib Triangle. So it remains terra nullius, no man's land. Every few years, a random guy from Virginia or Germany flies there, plants a flag, and tries to start a new country to make his kid a prince. Sorry guys, the UN isn't taking your applications today. Now, let's talk about the world's most stressful commute, Gibraltar. It's a tiny British territory at the tip of Spain. It's so small, they literally ran out of space. The only road connecting Gibraltar to mainland Europe, Winston Churchill Avenue, literally crosses the main runway of the international airport. Imagine driving to work, and the light turns red because a Boeing 737 needs to land in front of your Toyota. It's the only place on Earth where a plane cut me off is a legitimate excuse for being late to a meeting. It's terrifying, it's efficient, and it's peak British engineering. But wait, it gets more intimate. Ever wanted to sleep with your head in France and your feet in Switzerland? Welcome to Hotel Arbès. This hotel was built right on the border just before it was officially demarcated. The border runs through the kitchen, the dining room, several guest rooms. In the honeymoon suite, the bed is split exactly in half. If you and your spouse are having an argument, you can literally go to separate countries without leaving the bed. During World War II, this was a strategic masterpiece. French resistance fighters could hide on the upper floors because the German soldiers weren't allowed to cross into the Swiss half of the stairs. Geography isn't just lines, it's a survival tactic. Finally, we have the former heavyweight champion of weirdness, the India-Bangladesh border. Before 2015, this was a mess of over 160 enclaves. It featured the world's only third-order enclave. That was a piece of India, inside a piece of Bangladesh, inside a piece of India, inside Bangladesh. Legend says local Maharajas played chess for these villages. The reality was a human rights disaster. People in these pockets had no schools, no hospitals, and no police because their government couldn't reach them. Luckily, they fixed it in 2015 with a massive land swap, proving that even the weirdest borders can eventually find a path to logic. So, there you have it. From time-traveling islands to runways that double as roads, the world is a lot weirder than your high school geography book let on. Which of these borders would you hate to live on? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this trip around the map, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm off to find a house with a front door in a tax haven. See you in the next video.